Hello. Hopefully the audio is good on this. I've never tried to mix my background music with the foreground music, but I also can't like listen in silence. Yeah, let me just turn down just a little bit more so I can hear it a ton. But hopefully y'all can't hear it a ton. You know, let me see. What's my device? Speakers. All right. So there's still some copyright-free music playing in the background, I assume. Guess we'll find out when I watch this later. What? Alright. So, this little video is going to be about a program called Clip Studio Paint. So let me get my ugly face out the way. And then we're gonna go see Clip Studio. Yes, we are gonna see Clip Studio. Alright, let me shrink myself down a little bit more here. You don't need to see my ass. And let's make it... Why can't I make it a weird angle? Because I think that would be funny. So yeah, Clip Studio Paint. Raise your hand if you've heard of it. I'm sure a lot of you have. It's the new hotness on the interwebs. Though it isn't all that new. I think I heard about it... Dang. Many editions ago. It's available for tablet/mobile and a toned down version at like a subscription price is pretty cheap, or you can buy a perpetual license, which was kind of expensive, but I'm 40 and I treated myself, or as a subscription. They tend to update every year, and now they're nickel and diming you for it, but so far the thing they've got going for them over everybody else is no AI. Yay. Now I use AI on occasion for dumb backgrounds on streams, because I ain't got time to spend hours and hours and hours making a dumb background for something no one cares about or sees. That's the only use for it. For everything else, you know, adapt and overcome. So the biggest change for me with Clip Studio was, especially with how Photoshop be running these days, is how streamlined it is as far as using my computer. It's definitely not as bad as Photoshop. Photoshop likes to stall out all the time, probably because it's doing all that AI junk. But let us start with our, can you see this? Our lovely Clip Studio Paint. So it has many of the same tools as Photoshop. You know, you got a pen tool, which is not a vector pen tool, keep that in mind. It's more of like an inking tool, with like inking brushes. Right now I have the stabilizer turned to high hell, so it's real slow. But also things like, hey, look at that. And some of these brushes are incredible that you couldn't do in Photoshop. Which I think I have under the paintbrush. So then you have your pencil and pastel, which unfortunately has the same icon as the brush button. Yeah. It unfortunately does. And then my only other thing is, it's kind of hard to organize all your brushes here, because it wants to go across, and you can add a subtool. Like in this case, let's see. I'm going to add everything I downloaded today for doing like fabric stuff, okay? All of that. It's thinking about it. It's just kind of going to dump it there, and it's hard to organize versus the folders in Photoshop. It's thinking now, looking at stalling out. While it's doing that, let's look at some other stuff. It has your airbrush tool, just like Photoshop does. Your eraser, of course. And note that it does share many of the same hotkeys as Photoshop, like, you know, Control B is brush, Control E is eraser. But, like me, where I use the pen tool, Control P doesn't see pen to me. Also, Control Backspace, that's usually the fill-in. See, it just puts it here just in a folder. So you're going to have to scroll through like an endless pile of stuff. And it's a pain. Unless you don't mind. But you can get cool brushes like that. Woo! Look at that. And when, you know, I've always wanted to do like complicated, like fancy cool costumes, but drawing all the trim and shit pisses me off. But this comes in handy. Now, are all of these great? Not all of them. I think it's best to go in and streamline, but look at that. Photoshop can't do that. Bless your heart, Photoshop. I love you, but still. But it does kind of make it hard to babysit. Also, with your tool properties, they change depending on what you're doing. So, like, this is for the pen. Let's go to the brush tool. It's real basic. Oh, look. It's a hard round brush. Zippity doo dah. You're not going to be able to do a lot of the more interesting things, like you can in, say, Procreate and Photoshop. There is, as you can see here, let's just zoom in on this. It'll let me. Wish there was a good way to zoom in. So you see this up here? That's all you get to play with your average brush here. Size, opacity, and thickness. No angle jitter. None of the other wild things that I can show you in Photoshop. It's real basic. That's with your pen tool. Your brush tool, depending on what you're doing, you can get a little bit more complicated. Like your water brush for your watercolor, you get a little bit more like a texture and watercolor edge. Thick paint, you get a little bit of density and stabilization. India ink, about the same. You don't get a lot of options here. Then you got your airbrush, standard airbrush, like in every program. Same thing. Though it does have an option where you can set a reference area, which is pretty handy, and it won't cross the line. Which I should probably use more often, but I don't. Then you got your sparkle brush, your decoration brushes. These are kind of cool. There's stuff that are great for if you're doing, like, particularly manga or whatnot. Like, look, instant yaoi roses in any color you want. Yay! We'll just say pink and green. Woo! Look at that. Kind of weird. Woo! Look at that. Unfortunate that it, is only a main color and black. Sad. Or, say, dappled light. All of these, though, you could do in Photoshop just as well. That's not where the strengths of this program is. The strengths I've found is its stabilization is superior to Photoshop, and the pressure sensitivity is better for the lines. I don't have to, like, go over a ton of stuff, and it's nice and smoothy-wooty. Look at that. Okay. Let's shrink things. We also have a pretty good blending tool that's better than your average Photoshop without bogging down your computer. If I use blending in Photoshop, it usually shits itself. Liquify here, it's not as good as Photoshop. It's almost not worth doing. Of course, you got your bucket fill. It's handy, though, because it can do enclose and fill, which, you know, is pretty nice. Assuming that you have an enclosed circle. You can just do that. Woo! Look at that. Enclose and fill, that is essentially making a selection and it fills it. Which is handy because notice it's referencing the 3D layer underneath. Say you have a sketch, it definitely will help. I definitely will use this to do my flat tones. And then you got paint unfilled areas, which is pretty much paint everything. So you got that going. You got your gradients. Same as Photoshop. Importing your Photoshop gradients in can be a bit of a pain in the butt. I'm going to do a tutorial on how to do that. And unfortunately, you can't make gradient groups in here, so you're going to have to scroll through a giant wall of bullshit to find what you want. But it does have this kind of gradient, which I just find hilarious that it's referencing that. So you can do light and shadow and all that kind of thing. You will notice, hey, everything's looking at this layer underneath. It's not even a reference layer. It's frozen. That can be a problem for you if you care enough. We got our edge line tools. Meh. Basic bitch. Speed lines, though, are pretty awesome. Particularly if you're doing a lot of fight scenes, which I don't do anymore. But look at that. So much easier than what I used to have to do. I can show how to do it the Photoshop way, but look at that. That's just lovely. And then something that only it has is create frame and cut frame. And the handy thing about that is you make your frame and it makes a whole new group with your selection and everything, which is awesome. You can just focus on that one layer. However, sometimes for me, I'm like, I just want to color everything all at once, you know? We got some great rulers. Where it fails completely is text. The text here is absolute crap. Hardly editable. No layer styles. Hate it. And also, there really aren't layer styles in Clip Studio either. You know, Photoshop, you double click, you get some layer styles. Best you got is layer mask. So keep that in mind. You got your make a speech bubble tool, which is kind of handy. But, you know, if you want everything to look exact, I do it my own way, you know, in Photoshop. And then you got your vector thing. And then there's a lot more tools than that, but unfortunately they don't all fit on your side rail here. You're going to have to go to the window and find your tools and add them there, or you're going to have to, like, you know, add more tools by hand. Tool settings, all of that can be a tiny pain in the butt. But, haha, no pun intended. Where this really shines is the 3D abilities. So you got all your awesome 3D stuff. I'm just going to close this for a second. Where you can import a character and move the camera around, which is absolutely great. I love it. So let's just use some of my yaoi poses together. Gotta change your... So, one of my big gripes here is importing stuff sometimes. Like, hey, why is that all the way over here? Why are we all of a sudden gonna have to, like, do a ton of weird shit to get them in the same panel with each other? Hello? It's like, just put them together, please. Oh my god. So I'm going to turn this... And you also, which annoys me with 3D, is you can't change your anchor points. I don't like that. And you can't move your camera easily or make it rotate directly how you want it all the time. And in this case, these poses were made for a taller guy and a shorter person, whatever. So we'll just basic pose these two here. Cool thing is, look, you can spin everything around. You can change your camera angle. You can zoom in. You can zoom out, which is great. For in my case, like, okay, say I want to draw this whole thing in action, which I usually like to do, I can move this character up, get like a top-down view, and change things like we are in a camera. And you can select different body bits. Look at this. They're not totally great, but hey, it works. Another thing, alright, let's just get rid of these two. We're just going to import a body. You can design your character body. These are for poses. We're just going to use a body type. So in this case, mostly right here I have my yaoi guys, but we're just going to, I don't know, put in my big girl. It'll let me. Yeah, we'll just throw a runway model guy here. Alright. This is my lovely runway model guy that we use for Prince Cimmerian in my comic. You can edit the model some. Not a lot, but a little bit. So in this case, I like his arms a little beefier. So you can select them and do that. Yeah, you want torso a little bit wider? Alright, you got that. There you go. Legs shorter, what have you. Change all of that, register it, save it, change him into a girl instantly. Check that out. You can do manga perspective, which is a little bit camera, a little bit PC heavy, but it gives you some wild perspective. And for your camera, you can decide whether it's going to be like that or like that. How hardcore do you want your perspective? With humanoid figures, I don't know. That just looks whack. You can change your light source. Unfortunately, you only have one light source. Suck. You could do fog. I don't know why you would want to. Could do panorama if you wanted to. I don't know. Because you're not really using this base figure to just render out. This is a drawing figure to start with. So, let me get rid of this one, and we're going to go back to my dude here. So, this is the base pose. You can see all of it on the outside here with manga perspective. Look at that ridiculous bullshit. He doesn't have a sword, he has a staff, but there is no primitive for a cylinder, so I'm going to fix that and upload some free cylinder primitives. Yay, Blender. So you pose your character. And then save it, and then we're going to do some sketching. Alright, that worked cool? Yeah. Alright, let's go back into our happy hole. Yay. Alright, now time for some sketching. I do a lot of things on like regular paper. That comes in handy. But for the most part, lately I've switched to digital. Why? Because I have an essential tremor in my hand. So when I draw by hand, I can't stop it from moving weird. And I like to be able to change things on the fly and that kind of thing. And I move so fast, unless I'm using a quill pen with ink, I cannot keep my regular pens up with me. So we're going to go and pick the... You're like, what? We're going to use the pen tool? Could use the pencil tool. It doesn't really matter. It's all the same. You know, this basic pencil tool. What the hell? Depending on the character I'm doing, I start from light to dark with my... coloring. So yeah. When you're doing this, you're not tracing. Exactly. Because it's gonna look weird if you want to trace. It's just gonna look bizarre. We ain't doing that. Nah, I'll show you what I do. Is it great? Meh. Am I good at it? Yeah. But we're learning. We're teaching. All of that. So I like to start out with just to get the fear out of the way. Where's the spine and stuff going? Just whoop. Just get a feeling where things are. Also because a blank canvas is scary. And then I kind of decide where my head's going to be. And I do that. I just scribble all over the place to make it less scary. Alright. This is helpful with, like, you know, figuring the basics out, you know, and perspective. I do the blocks. And then, like that. And it helps with proportion, because my proportions always frickin' suck when I do them. They're always bad. Every time. Always shit. like that you can zoom in over here. That comes in kind of handy. So I'm just gonna make this like that, and we're just gonna erase this. Pencil. Note that both pen and pencil have the same hotkey. That's real dumb, Clip Studio. That's real dumb. I know they start with the same letter. But I don't know, Shift P, Control P, like, I can't tell you how many times I've ended up with the wrong thing. Alright, you can zoom in here, that's nice. Yay. Alright, so I'm going to work on his head first. See, there I go, clicking the wrong P again. Don't do that to me. Alright. So in this case, 3/4 views are hard. I suck at them, but this helps, because otherwise I end up having issues. And we're gonna go eyebrow, da-da-da, nose, all of that. And then I just scribble, because I am trash like that. Forever trash. Alright, this guy is an astral elf, and if you play D&D, you know, they have long... See, I also do really sketchy shit. I used to get yelled at in art school. Yeah, I went to art school. Can you believe it? I'm in medicine now, because there's no jobs! But anyway, oh no, you're so sketchy. Your art is so sketchy. Yeah? Yeah, I know. I believe my teacher said it had something to do with lack of confidence. I could believe that. Probably because my art was sketchy and I got trolled about it all the time. So, yeah. This guy is a Circle of Dreams druid. I'll see if I can edit the hotkeys. Circle of Dreams druid, who is kind of the support caster, Iceman on the team. But, really just kind of there to chill and support and freeze things and help people figure out the weird dreams they're having, and of course be some casual fun comic relief, because the Circle of Dreams druid, you know, he got that dream weed, right? Are his eyes really big? Yeah, because I like it that way. Duh. Alright, we're going full anime bullshit up in this shit, alright? Full on big eye, big mouth, cute nose. Though I kind of, let's just give him a straight. There we go. I usually don't do that. I hate my nose, but we're gonna do it. Alright. Straight basics. And then I like to try and figure out where the hairline and the back of the head's gonna be. Alright, that's pretty good. Now let's erase everything here. And then I'm going to do the hand on a separate thing, because I suck. So, this really helps, because my problem is I always do the proportions wrong with hands. Like, every time. This really makes a huge difference, and it stops me from having to redraw the same thing like 30 times and eventually rage quitting. And also, when I'm doing my guy stuff, helps me keep the hands looking a little bit more masculine, so I don't fall into my old school I draw hot chicks ways. Now, here's my beef. If you would trace this thing, look at these pencil thin arms. Like, the hell is that? Nah, we ain't about that. This dude might be just a caster. But he does work out, okay? Now, luckily, we don't have to worry about drawing all of him because he actually is wearing clothes. Yes, it is wonderful that he is wearing clothes. Gotta do this hand here. And note, I know the perspective's correct on this. Because computer did most of the perspective. But I don't like how small his hand is. No, I do not. You can still select and control T. Just like Photoshop. Now, can you do all the fancy like perspective and skew and all of that? Are you kidding? No. But you can do the basics. Good enough to get the job done for what you need. So yeah, I'm just doing like this rough ass body. Because we're going to draw clothes and hair and shit. Okay. There we go. Now I'm looking at this and I'm like, I don't like how that torso looks. Look at that. I don't like this bent over thing. Even though he's like crouching and stuff, we don't see the rest of him. Let's straighten him out there. There you go. Look at that. Mostly straight. Another ear. Okay, now we're going to do another layer. We're going to make that a little less, a little darker. And we're going to go in. And I'm just going to suggest where his hair is here. In fact, you know what? Let me show you the cool brush. It's a cool brush. It's an awesome sauce brush. We're going to use a dark blue so we can see it. So, yeah, there's lots of fun ones. Let's go into here and find... I got hairbrushes, baby. Yeah. Let's add them. Got all that. I've got instant braids in here, too. Because there's nothing I hate more than having to redraw a braid over and over and over and over again. Well, I had an instant braid. I guess I'll have to find another one. Haha. So we're going to add that. It's thinking. Now I'll show you how I block out hair. Just to get started if I was doing this a different way. So we're going to make it windy because windy is cool. Yes, it's goofy anime hair. So this guy, of course... Look, I like dudes with ponytails, alright? Like... But picture this guy, like, you know those wooks at festival? This guy isn't a total wook, but he's pretty close. He is, you know, the sort of dude that has... Not dreads, but, you know, you a white boy, you probably shouldn't be dreading and braiding, but you are because... For some dumb reason, that's this kind of guy. And he keeps little trinkets and stuff up in his hair. which he keeps clean with, like, you know, prestidigitation because you're herring for that, but you are going to do it anyway, aren't you, Wook? Yes, you are. Some of the hair is probably not even yours. Now, here's my big gripe. I'm so used to control backspace, being fill. No. No, we're not doing that, apparently. You can't fill all of your selections all at once. No, you gotta do them each piece. I mean, I'm sure there is possibly a way to do it, but I'm not looking it up right now. Alright. Then, you got your fun hairbrushes. These are like for like shading or coloring, but we're gonna do like just ghetto anime. Ghetto anime realness. Now you notice with this brush though, you can't change your stabilizer. What? Yeah, I don't even like half of that. But it's giving me ideas. It's giving me feels. We'll see if I keep it or not. Because I don't know. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. I'm not sure. It's one of those maybe yes, maybe no kind of a things. Let's see what inking pen I want to use. Now, my favorite way of inking is still with a damn quill pen. Yes. A quill pen. You gotta get our tool property over here to change stabilization, unlike Photoshop where it's on the top, but we are gonna go there. Alright. Yes. I'm gonna close the hair. Alright. We're starting this new D&D campaign. We'll talk about that for a second. But yeah, that's what this guy is for. So, you could sit here and watch me ink this whole thing. I don't think anyone cares that much. But yeah, these are pretty good pens. I like them. I'm happy about them. They do well, and I find that they don't bog down as much when I'm working on stuff, which is good. Now, I will do another video that's all about the 3D figures and stuff at another time. You know, see how that goes. Yeah. But you don't want to watch me ink this whole thing, so I'll show you other ways of starting with stuff. So, we're going to make a new group. Let's be some color blocking groups. Now, should you label your stuff? Absolutely. Should always label your layers. Is my dumbass who knows better doing so? Absolutely not. I feel like, I don't know, it's a thrill of the chase. No, it's because I'm lazy and I'm kind of dumb. Learn from my fail. You know? Learn from my fail. You can do better, okay? You can do so much better. Label your shit, and you will thank me later. Don't be like me. Be smart. Or at least freeze things you don't want to do stuff on. I at least organize by groups, sort of. And I keep telling myself I'm going to remember. But I don't. Hey, actually, I thought about leaving him bald, but you know what? If you're a bald elf, it means you're evil. That's the rules. I don't make the rules, I just enforce them. Bald elf, you're evil. Soulless. One of the people in our D&D group didn't realize that and was very disturbed about a game that's been out for, what, 5 years or longer than that? Old enough for it to be, like, on sale. Oh my god, the bald elf's evil? Yes, he is. It's the rules. You do evil and your hair falls out. But that only applies for elves, because you does not affect human hair growth. You can be 100% evil and still keep all your hair if you're human, and I suppose you can use magic to keep your hair if you're an elf, but typically it makes your hair fall out. That's the rules. Just get with it. There's not nudity here. I just block out the whole body like this. Okay, okay. Just to get a feel for it. And my dude wears a lot of blue. He's a dream guy. Wish I had a reference for what goofball outfit I wanted him to wear, but I think we're just gonna go think strappy wook life. Perhaps know someone who can crochet. Yes. Alright. So we're just gonna do some strappy shit. Yeah, it's rough. Keep it rough to start with. You can always carve it out later, buddy. We'll give him one sleeve. How about that? But it'll have cutouts. How about a one sleeve? I don't know. Let's makes it all lopsided. Because that's what a druid would wear, right? Like, something that looks like you bought it at a festival. The guy you sold it to is probably on ketamine. And it's most likely, like, some sort of upcycled shin thing, but it's all good because you wanted a different outfit, and you were really tired, and it just seemed like a great idea at the time. So you did it, and it's all good. Alright, but he's a man, so you can't show too much midriff, right? Yeah. Yeah, this outfit's gay, which makes sense, because this dude is also liberal-minded about who he plays with. So far, everyone in the group is right out! Alright, and because, hey, let's do like some sort of funky armband thing. And he's supposed to be wearing like plate, like leather mail. I don't care. We'll add some crazy stuff on top, okay? But it's just giving us a general idea here. Let's get out the eraser and have some more fun ideas. Yeah, cutouts. Woo. And of course, like, I don't know. Some, like, underpack cutouts. That looks good. We like that, don't we? That looks good. Look at that, homeboy. You looking sweet. Some real skin-tight, ridiculous outfit. But I don't know. It kind of works. Add the hair. God, that's awful. But you know what? We're gonna keep on going. That is some like cliche Dark Elder shit. We're getting rid of that hair. I don't like that hair. We'll deal with that later. Okay. Let's add some armor. I'll label it just for y'all. Yes, I know. I already fed them. Okay. Totally misspelled it, but I don't care. Alright, let's add some armor. Which I guess we've got to be some sort of hide brown here. Alright, so first thing we gotta have is some dorky little single shoulder chest piece or what have you. Like shoulder thingy that's just on the one arm. You know, because that's what you gotta have. This is a different brush than that was the chalk brush, just the regular brush. Note that it has stabilization. You're limited to your taper. Your taper is... You're not going to be able to do the Photoshop shit, guys. And that's kind of slowed down. Let's go. I don't like the brush pen. We'll just go back to... I don't know. Back to the usual shit I use. Yes. And we'll just make it bigger! Alright, and then we're going to need, like, some, you know, hand guard here. Going to some goofy arm guard here. But we only gonna have this on one arm for some reason, because that's what you do. I don't know, we could probably give him a... That's gonna cover his pretty face. I think this hand's just gonna have some goofy jewelry on it. Yes, sir. Alright, and we'll give him... I don't know. Let's give him some metal armor, too. So... It's gonna have, like, this goofy neck thing that's mostly jewelry, but also, I guess, could protect you for a second. If you really cared. And then we're going to go and give him some cool jewelry that could double as armor to not cover his pretty face. So, it's going to be like some hammered silver stuff. Top of this finger, top of this finger. And around the wrist there. There we go. Look at that. But we'll like, you know, fix that up a little bit more later. And he has a cool ear cover thing. So you don't want the tip of your ear messed with in a fight. Look at that. Okay, look at that. That's so pretty. And let's go full Wookfest with, like, strange nose jewelry. We're going to do, like, this weird piercy thing. Yeah. Kind of like that guy with the Genghis Khan video, isn't it? I kind of like it. You know, it's kind of weird. It works, though. I'll show you another cool thing. You can draw chains. Let's see if I got them already loaded. Might be here. Yeah, we'll add our chains here. So I downloaded a cool chain brush. That's another really cool thing about this is so many free assets. Is using a brush to do your chain cheating? Probably. Who cares? Does it get the job done? Yes, it does. And that's all that matters in the end. Because we're competing against AI. They can make 1 billion images at a time. If we need to use a little bit of cool brushes to get our shit done, then we shall do so. And we're going to talk about how these brushes work. They aren't instant art. Takes a minute to load, but we got this. Alright. So, notice this brush. Looks like it has a lot of details there, right? It don't. Now, it is possible to edit it, you know, to make it work a little bit better to where you got like an edge to it. There are certain actions and layer styles that you can kind of do in here, which I'll show later once I figure out how to do them more efficiently. But right now for me, yeah, it kind of works best just doing it old school with Photoshop. So let's see. I don't think there's a way to fix this way. We'll just look. There is apparently a way to do it that is not convenient or simple to where it has an edge on it. Or you can just draw your shit, save it as a separate chain layer, and do cool Photoshop stuff later, which is what I will do. So some of these chains, you got like little hearts, this one, we're going to use something that's simple to color. And I made this a separate layer so I can color it in Photoshop later. And let's just, I don't know. It's cool. Gonna color them later, but it's so much easier than doing everything by hand. Like, look at that. Yum, yum. Alright. Label it so you don't forget. Chains. Alright, that's cool. There you go. Let's decide what we're gonna do with his hair. Now there are hairbrushes. They're all pretty good. I frankly like my hairbrushes that I have made a little bit better. Unfortunately, things like my autocolor hair don't work here. This normally would have like dynamic tip and be pointed, and no, it doesn't really give you that option. You can't change your brush point. It's kind of sad. And notice how slow it is. But we're doing anime hair here, folks, so let's just go back to where we were. Alright. Do his hair light blue, even though it's going to be blonde later. Okay, there we go. Alright. So we're going to say, let's give him a bouffant into a braid. There we go. We're going to turn down our stabilization because we don't need it smooth, we just need it there. Alright, cool. Got our hair up. Probably a nice hair. With, you know, baby hairs. We got that. Alright. Then, I'm thinking messy disaster poof here. And then the rest of the braid. There we go. Just kind of giving me an idea. Now, am I going to probably have rage quit and change everything? Yeah, probably. But this is a good start here. You know, it gives me kind of a general idea. That way I'm not, like, spending hours inking this thing and then going to sleep and coming back going, God damn it, perspective's all wrong, I hate everything. Which is usually what happens. And we'll just braid there. Woo! There we go. Kind of like that. That's pretty good. I feel like, you know, we're missing something there, though. And why is his hand in this weird-ass position? Because there's supposed to be a butterfly on it, guys. Because he's Morpho, like the blue Morpho butterfly. Oh my god, yeah. Yes. Alright. Not horrible. Don't hate it. Not totally into it. Alright, let's do his staff now. Which is why this perspective thing's handy. There'll be a big old glow thing there. It'll work out. Somehow. Definitely want to get this thing in before I get too attached to any fancy clothing. Because look, it kind of covers up a lot of it. But that's okay. And then, you know, the background paper. Let's just do like a contrasting color. I don't know. Whatever. That shows how, you know, something's a little weird. Don't know what it is. But yeah. So you just keep at it. Adding and subtracting. Adding and subtracting. It's all good. And then you can ink on top of it. Or, I don't know, do what I do a lot of times. And, ink first. Color later. But I wanted to show more stuff about the program, you know? But yeah, that's your basics of Clip Studio. A lot of things it can do. Filter-wise, it's very weak. Your limited filters. You aren't going to be cleaning up your line art very well in here. You know, you're kind of limited to what you can do. And then editing, there are no fancy edit things. And also I've found that doing gradient maps, which is how I do a lot of my coloring, doesn't work great in here, if it works at all. So keep that in mind. But yeah, you know, there we go. Good times. Clip Studio. Put this on Pinterest. Well, no. Patreon for the one person who watches this, and on YouTube for the no people who watch this, of me rambling on. But it gives you a general idea. Now, keep in mind, this is a sketch that sucks. You can do much better. And I'll do a detailed coloring